All right, let's get into the sits.
Sits of the week.
Yeah! I do the screaming until you fix that drop.
Here's a little hint for the Foot Clan. I could have fixed that last night, but I got trapped in Azeroth.
Whoa.
Ooh.
It's a little. If you know what we're talking about,
Oh, my goodness.
then you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that gives him confidence. All right, Jason, who do you got as your sit of the week at the quarterback position?
My sit of the week this week is going to be Mr. Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill has what looks to be a decent matchup. San Diego. Could be high scoring. I am not saying that Ryan Tannehill can't have a good game. I'm saying that I cannot
You're
trust
saying he
him.
won't.
I'm saying I cannot trust whether or not he will, and there's no situation where I would choose to start Ryan Tannehill going into this week. You have
Sounds like the story I told myself in my head about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
about Ryan Tannehill.
And that's what you've seen. You've seen a week where he throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns against the Jets, a great D, and then the next week 86 yards for 1 touchdown against Baltimore, a bad passing D. You have no rhyme or reason for what goes on with the play calling in Miami, and I am avoiding Ryan Tannehill this week. Sit him. This is the playoffs.
A.J. McCarron or Ryan Tannehill?
I would feel more confident starting A.J.
That's
McCarron
hot.
than Ryan Tannehill.
That's a hot take. I know who's calling the plays in Miami. It's Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is the new play caller.
Uh-oh.
That's why Lamar Miller carries the ball.
What's
12
incredible
times.
is the entire offense, and the head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, all switched. Play calling still suspect.
Everyone hates Lamar Miller.
Yeah, what's he doing? I don't know. Marcus Mariota is my sit of the week. Yes, he's had some big-time games over the last 5 or 6 weeks. But listen, the Pats are shutting down quarterbacks, fantasy quarterbacks. Mike mentioned it yesterday. I said that I was a little bit afraid because when you play a defense that is against somebody who's had like a 40, 50-point week, it gives you a little bit of hesitation. That being said, we saw Mariota last week. The weapons, he doesn't have them right now in the passing game. He only produced fantasy-wise because he caught a touchdown pass.
He turned into the passing weapon.
Right, it was a pass to himself by calling that play. But 20 or less points for fantasy quarterbacks against the Patriots the last 4 games, and that's the number I want to key in on, and the reason why I would start somebody other than Marcus Mariota.
And my sit of the week, we put our brains together, and we thought, we got to be bold. Who are we going to sit down? And we're sitting down Russell Wilson because
yes, honorary
sit of the week.
I exempt myself from that.
So we're sitting him down for you, Foot Clan,
so that you can play him.
Yeah, but seriously, play him. He's been really good. He's been really good.
That's a joke.
If this is the first time you're listening to the show and you don't know,
yeah, that makes no sense.
You don't know why we're sitting Russell Wilson. We're sitting him so that you can start him.
Yes, I know it doesn't make much sense. Just play him, and you'll find out why.
Yeah, but totally a big sit.
Thank you. We almost missed that.
My actual sit of the week, Eli Manning. I know he's coming off a fire type game. Carolina Panthers coming into town, one of the best passing defenses in the league. I hope that the play callers for the Giants are smart enough to say, Odell Beckham, you play in the slot, 25, 30% of the time. We're going to keep doing that so that Josh Norman is not covering you. Unlike in Atlanta, the buffoonery, I will go there, the buffoonery of not playing Julio in the slot at all. So I'm not saying Odell Beckham's going to have a bad game. I just don't trust Eli Manning in this situation.
That's very fair. So running back-wise, who are you sitting down, Mike?
I'm sitting down Buck Allen. He takes on the Chiefs, and he was on the ground last week against Seattle, 8 for 14. That's a feat. That is a feat for Buck Allen. I know he's still got the 5 catches, so he has PPR value.
42 feet. 42 total feet gained.
But the Chiefs are great. We need to get an update on Justin Houston, which we say every week because he's a defensive changing player. But even without Justin Houston, the Chiefs are on fire. The Chiefs are gunning for the playoffs. They're in the playoffs right now. They control their own destiny. They keep winning. They stay in the playoffs. I don't like Buck Allen. And throw on top of that Jimmy Clausen as your quarterback.
Well, and that's what hurt Buck Allen too, not having, Schaub at least showed he could dump it off to Clausen 8 times in the game prior.
12 times.
By the way, Justin Houston's replacement, 3 sacks. 3 sacks last week. So they're getting it done. My running back sit of the week, I'm going to go with,
I I hadn't seen it until now.
Run DMC?
Oh, I was looking at Jason's.
No. Run DMC. I'm sitting down Darren McFadden. The Jets' D is stout against the run. You saw Turbin get some work last week. I just don't think that Darren McFadden's going to get enough going on the ground. Yes, he's probably, if he's better than other options you have to roll him out there because it's playoff time. But there are a lot of guys we talked about on the waiver show yesterday that I would, depending on how things shake out, would I play Denard Robinson over Run DMC? I probably would this week with the matchup. So I'm going to sit down McFadden comparatively to some of those other options.
Yeah, I probably would have taken him as mine if I didn't already have other options from Dallas. We're not, I mean, one of the things that happened towards the end of the year is teams start playing for different reasons. The Jets are playing for the playoffs. They're in it. But if they went out and the Steelers went out, they're out. So they have to be winning these games. Their season, their playoffs are on the line, and Dallas is kind of wilted, and their last chance was over. So that matchup's not one I like. But at running back, for me, my sit of the week is going to be Ronnie Hillman.
Yeah. Ronnie
Hillman got his opportunity last week, and he did very, very little with it. This week, you've got C.J. Anderson has been the more of the pass catching back, and you've got the matchup against the Steelers, who also need to win to get in, and so you've got the number 2 run defense fantasy wise. You've got C.J. Anderson probably getting back, a higher scoring affair game, which is bad for the running. So I just don't like anything with Ronnie Hillman.
Give me that. Give me his running numbers from last week.
Last week he got the ball 12 times.
How many yards?
20.
He had an 11-yard run.
So that means 10 yards or 10 carries for 9 carries for 9 yards.
Math.
All right, so
Good work,
who's your wide receiver sit?
I'll take it. My sit of the week, Brandon LaFell. He's averaging only 30 yards the last 3 weeks. People keep believing it's going to happen. I had been one of those believers until the last few weeks because he was very good.
Heavily targeted.
Year. He was heavily targeted, and he was not dropping balls. I believe he had about 6 drops on the entire year. He has surpassed that in his in limited work this year. I just don't think
he didn't play the first half of the year.
That's what I mean. I just don't think it's going to happen for LaFell. Something strange is going on. Tom Brady still is taking shots to him, so a big play absolutely could happen. But would I start him this
yet? Yeah.
Would I start? No, I would not start Brandon LaFell.
All right, I'm going to go with Jordan Matthews, a guy I just plain can't trust. You know, he's had some garbage time touchdowns that have saved his fantasy days. Bad week last week. The Cardinals secondary is very good. This is a Sunday night game. The Cardinals are 7th against wide receivers, so I just don't like it for Jordan Matthews. It's a trust issue with him. It's not necessarily that he can't do it. It's that I just don't know if he will, and I feel like where he slots in on my team at this point, he's not somebody I want to trust comparatively. I'd rather put some other guys out there.
Who do you trust?
Well, I'll tell you who you
No,
don't.
you don't get that reference? Oh.
I'll tell you who you don't trust with my wide receiver sit of the week. Dez Bryant. I mean, he's got the name you love and you want it, but he's got a bad matchup. 2, here's the stat you need to know the most.
A bad quarterback.
Well, yeah, he's got a bad matchup and a terrible quarterback. That's not a good combination, but he has what you want, which he just got 10 receptions. The only part that you don't want is that it took him 4 games. 4 games to get those 10 receptions.
I thought I had missed something.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything. Dez Bryant missed something, or someone missed Dez Bryant on a lot of throws. So you just can't be confident in starting him. His name, you've got to forget his name.
So why don't you just go on to your tight end since we're staying on the same team?
Yep, and likewise, speaking of the terrible quarterback, Jason Witten, why is he still started in almost 40% of leagues? There are other options. Jason Witten is not a guy in the fantasy playoffs you want. Now, he got 5 receptions last week. He got 5 receptions the week before. Those are numbers where, you care about targets, you care about receptions. They're using him. That seems good. But he hasn't had a touchdown since week 1. His yards with the new quarterback over the last 4 weeks, 27 yards, 36, 46, and 40. There's no touchdowns, no yards. He might get catches.
No upside.
No upside.
That's
0.
basically what you're saying.
Yeah, go with Richard Rodgers, who can explode.
Okay. I'm going to sit down Kyle Rudolph. I don't buy into any momentum with him. He got involved in that screen game against the Cardinals. He's had a couple good games in weeks past, but the Bears are solid against the tight end. Very solid. They're in the top 10 against tight ends, and I'm eliminating Kyle Rudolph because what he is he's not an auto start for anybody, but I'm eliminating from my consideration of a guy I want to stream out there.
All right, my take is a little hot, so you might want to put on your oven gloves.
Woo!
I'm sitting down Travis Kelce. I've had it.
Zeus.
I have had it. My man, Travis Kelce, if you've been with the show all year, you know my affection for the man known as Zeus, Travis Kelce. But here's the problem. Baltimore, their defense, they're still very good against guarding the tight end. And 2 weeks ago, Travis Kelce, in one of the most delicious, succulent, juicy matchups for tight ends against Oakland, he got 3 targets. He got 5 targets last week. They're just not getting him the ball. In the last 2 weeks, the situations were prime for Travis Kelce to be involved, and it's just not happening. So I'm sitting him down.
And they're winning games.
So
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. Would you consider, we're almost at the end of the season. I'm sure we will have shows in which we do this in a more complete fashion, but is he on your list of disappointments?
Yes. He's on my list of disappointing just because of where I thought he could finish. I mean, he's still –
you and I guess we made a water bet about top
I thought
3.
he would be a top 3 guy, and he's still number 6 or 7 in your depending on your scoring format, because he was getting yards. He just wasn't getting those big plays and wasn't getting touchdowns. But now he's just getting eliminated from the offense altogether. Sure, he could come out and if he has a big game this week, it would build that confidence back up. But I know that a lot of people, along with myself, they have to look at this decision every week: Travis Kelce or Jordan Reed. It's Jordan Reed.
That's what I was going to ask you is what other guys are they deciding between? And what about Kelce this week or Antonio Gates?
Ooh, what's the matchup for the Chargers?
Gates has the
it's
Dolphins.
better. I'm going with Gates.
Okay.
I'm going with Gates.
And Gary Barnidge is a guy that
Sure.
Zeus owners picked up. And,
Yep.
you'd roll Barnidge.
That's a really good example. All right.